Yeesh, tough crowd. Maybe Heroes Month is a mistake after all, because in the first episode I talk about a Gundam that a lot of people recognize in episodes 2 and 3. I guess not a lot of Gundam fans are into After War and Gundam Age. Does that mean I should end the theme? Now let's keep going. How's it going, guys? It is Plastic Disasta, and today we are going to do a review of the high-grade Iron-Blooded Orphans Gundam Barbatos Lupus Rex. Now, I've already taken a look at a kit that is from the same line, which will be the Kimura's Vidar. Go check out that review. Like how I did in the previous episode, I'm not sure if I covered what Iron-Blooded Orphans is about in my Kimura's Vidar review, but I'll talk about it here. So, what the anime series is about is that it takes 300 years after the Calamity War. Then 300 years later, this Gundam was found. Well, actually, it went through a few changes. First, it went to the Gundam Barbatos, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth form, Barbatos Lupus, and then finally Barbatos Lupus Rex. And this Gundam is piloted by our cold-hearted and yet nice protagonist, Mikazuki August. Taking a look at the box art, we have the Lupus Rex pulling off a sick pose, showing everything it's got. The giant mace, the claws, and some sort of tail whip, I forgot the official name. And the background, you could say it's spicy. Get it? Because it's hot. And let's continue on the review. Taking a look at this side of the box, we have the front and the back shot of the kit. We have some nice poses and some gimmicks. You look at this side of the box, it's just an advertisement for another Iron-Blooded Orphans kit and the weapon options. Before I open this box, get this, I got this kit at Target. I think that's that big famous stores are selling Gunpla, but you should still support your local hobby store. Alright, so cracking open the box, we are going to be greeted with 3 bags of runners and a manual. Looking at the cover of the manual, we saw a familiar box art. And taking a look down here, here's what the Lupus Rex looks like in the anime, the pilot, and if you want to read this information, feel free to pause and read it for yourself. Taking a look at the manual, it looks like we're going to be using the majority of the parts. See those little X's right there? Those are excluded. And you're going to start off with the chests, then later the head, the arms, the legs, continuing on the legs, the backpack, and the weapons. Taking a look at the back of the manual, we already saw 2 familiar poses, and yes, Tailblade, that's the official name. And we have a new pose and a new rear shot. Right down there is an advertisement and a color guide. Runner A is going to be their go-to gray parts for their frame, or inner frame, excuse me, and looks like we have parts for the legs and knees. I know these parts are going to be excluded for sure, and these 2 parts as well, and those parts are going to be for the torso, and this is for the waist, and those are for the shoulders. Runner B is going to be their multicolored part. We have parts for the blue ones, yellow, red, and of course gray. Got some hand parts right there. And these are the parts we're going to use for the upper torso. That's part for the shoulder, parts for the arm right here. And looks like we have parts for the knees right here, parts for the torso, the head, and I can assume the waist, shoulders, and I believe that's parts for the torso as well. And that's parts for the feet, that's a part for the waist, eyepiece, and parts for the torso. Runner C is going to be the white parts, and looks like we have parts for the head right over here, parts for the legs, the arms, tail blade, the waist, torso, side skirts, shoulders, that's the crotch piece. Runner D is going to be more gray parts, and looks like we have parts for the big mace, looks like those are parts for the backpack. Small polycap runner, the bendable wire for the tail blade, and the sticker sheet, which I definitely will not use. Not a lot of runners, and the high-grade Iron-Blooded Orphans line are known to be cheap, which is why there is a lack of color separation and a big sticker sheet. I wish Bandai would have spent a little extra money on their engineering. So anyways, I'm going to build this kit right now, and I'll see you guys right after the build. And here is the out-of-box presentation of the Lupus Rex, and what can I say? It does not look good. But in terms of building experience, it's actually quite nice. Everything fits together so well. It's very nice and simple, and as you saw earlier, not a lot of runners, which means not a lot of parts, which also means it doesn't take a lot of time. However, there are some issues I had. The red part on the chest, it keeps falling out. Like, I thought it would snap together, so I ended up gluing it. The waist, it keeps popping off, so I had to tighten up the ball joint. Same thing for the head. Once you handle all these minor problems, it's a solid kit. Now it's time to address the elephant in the room. The arms. I know a lot of people are not into it, or some. I don't know, you guys. Personally, I don't mind it at all, but I still wish it's like 2 millimeters shorter in terms of the length. I mean, why would you name it Rex if it has long arms? But hey, that is the point of the Barbatos, and the Barbatos is named after some sort of demon, and the Gundam is supposed to be some sort of monster, if you think about it. Now that trivia time is over, let's do some sticker placements. The eye stickers, of course, goes onto the eyes. One unnecessary sticker that goes onto the neck piece, but I already went ahead and painted gray. The number 8 sticker goes on this part of the torso. The side skirts, this part of the sticker goes right up here, and this part of the sticker goes right down there, and of course you're going to do the same thing for the other side. These gray stickers go on the back of the legs, and of course you're going to do the same thing for all the sides. Stickers 9 and 10 goes on the toes. Make sure you pay attention which side it goes on. These red stickers go on the heels right over here. Sticker number 3 is gonna go on the knees. That was an unnecessary rhyme. Stickers number 11 and 12 goes on the shoulders. Once again, please pay attention which side it goes on. This gigantic yellow sticker goes onto the long part, while this sticker right here goes on the little hook part. As for seam lines, there's not a whole lot. There's one supposed to be right here, but I can go as a detail. But the problem with this one is that no matter how hard I try to squeeze it, it keeps popping out. I mean, it looks okay for now, but later on it's gonna split up a little bit. Lastly, there's one tiny little seam line on the yellow part right here, but you will never see it anyways, so nothing to worry about. Now that you've seen the out-of-box presentation, sticker placement, seam line locations, my thoughts on the proportions, I'm gonna work on this kit and I'll see you guys right after the detail work. Here is the Lupus Rex, all detailed up and painted, and I gotta say it looks wonderful. And get this, when I pen aligned this kit, I was using these Gundam markers, and it was my first time using them, and they work very well because it actually helps bring out the details. Speaking of details, there are quite a handful of surface detail, and I love it. And speaking of which, even though in the anime it's not silver, but I decided to paint it silver so it pops out a little more. So painting the inner frame or some parts of the inner frame actually helps out. So let's go over the accessories. The first one would be the giant mace, and I forgot to mention that there is a seam line going across here, and the handle does retract. And if you want to store it, you bring this kit to the back and take this connection piece, plug this in here, and you see this little tab right up here. You're going to insert it like so, and that is how it's gonna look, and I'm surprised it's not falling backwards. For hand options, as you can see, you already have the open hands or the Rex nail, and you have 2 of the weapon holding hands. Now, here's what bugs me. It doesn't have the hand covers, and if you want to use these kind of hands, you're going to have to switch out the covers, and that's a little inconvenient for me. And please, I encourage you, paint these fingers yellow. Next up, you have this bendable wire, which I hope it holds up for a while, and it also leads me to the tail blade. Okay, so I took off the big mace just for demonstration purposes. Anyways, if you want to use the bendable wire and the tail blade, first you might want to detach this, take this apart, and you're gonna put the wire into this little tiny hole. Bend this part just a little bit so it looks like a hook. Put this adapter piece back. You're gonna take this end of the wire, plug it right in here, and it's not going anywhere. And bada boom, it's gonna sting you like a scorpion. If you're done using the bendable wire, don't put the adapter piece too far in, otherwise it'll get stuck. And the final accessory would be the action-based adapter. Due to the design of the crotch, you can tell why. As for gimmicks, you can tell there is a trick up his sleeve. Okay, I swear that is the last pun I'll do for the review. Anyways, there is a sub arm in his forearm. It has a hinge right there and a hinge right over here. And there is no rotation. That's all the articulation you're gonna get on the subarm. Scratch that. There is a tight rotation right up here. So that's enough for the accessories. Let's move on to the articulation. The head is on a double ball joint. You do get a little bit of an ab crunch, and there's a ball joint right down there. And you also get a waist swivel as well. The shoulder is on a ball joint, and the shoulder pad can move up that far, and this little blue thing can move up and down ever so slightly. The arm can move up that far. Bicep swivel. The arm's on a single bend, but you do get an over 90-degree bend. The wrist is on a ball joint, but if you push it in, it's just a rotation. The front skirt can move up that far. And don't mind the arm falling out. I promise you, it is a solid kit. Anyways, the side skirt can move out that far, and you also get some rotation right over here. The back skirt doesn't move at all. The leg can move up that far, move back that far. Can do the splits. Double bend at the knee. As for the waist, you do get some hip movement. For the foot, ankle armor can rock forward and back. Bend at the toe this much. It can go up that far. And as for a pivot, you get a really great pivot. As for the backpack, the tail blade can move up and down. Also, I don't know what these holes are for. I guess it's for customization purposes. Let me know in the comments below. Overall, the articulation is really great, and you can pull off some sick dynamic poses. So let's move on to the size comparisons. Size comparisons, starting off with that big ass mace. You can tell it's bigger than the Gundam itself. And here he is right next to the standard size RX-78-2. Man, I mean, sure, the Lupus Rex is big, like 20 meters tall, while the RX-72 is only 18 meters tall. But still, that mace is just gigantic. If I compared that mace to another big mobile suit, the Sazabi, my custom one, check out that video. It still towers over the Sazabi, which is pretty scary. Okay, but since it's still Heroes Month, we gotta bring in the other protagonist mobile suits, the alternate universe ones. Here he is, right next to the God Gundam, the Wing Zero. Actually, I think it'll be easier if I take off the mace. Alright, much better. Now we can see everything, and let's bring in the other mobile suit. Okay, so the fact that I had to zoom out and show the rest of it, I can safely say that the Lupus Rex towers all of them. Sorry, Strike Freedom, I guess you're not the big boy anymore. And since we're also on the theme of Iron-Blooded Orphans, here he is right next to my Gundam Kimars Vidar. I know it looks a little wonky right now, but it is in the process of customizing and painting soon. Finally, here he is right next to Optimus Prime and Godzilla, and I swear to God, I'm not a Jobby ripoff. If I was, I would have thrown Madoka in it. Okay, so for my final thoughts, me personally, I do like this kit, but for you guys, it's up to your own personal preference, because I don't think this kit is for everyone, maybe because of the way how it looks. I heard it's better off as an SD kit, which I do have. Also, if you're okay with everything that you see, I recommend that you pick this kit up. And if you're the kind of guy who likes to do a straight build, I hate to be honest with you, but you really have to paint this kit just to make it look nice like how I did. And if you could do better, that's great, because I don't think the stickers look that convincing. That's gonna be it, guys. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you like this content, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing. It helps me a lot. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to leave a like as well. Heroes Month is not over, and July is gonna go by pretty quickly, so stay tuned for more. I'll see you guys in the next video. Been 4 high grades in a row already, and let's put a little twist in it by making the next one a real grade. Some of you might be saying, bro, haven't you reviewed this kit already? Well, that was the high grade version.